Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, September 27th, and we have the Gospel from Luke, chapter 5, verses 33-39. And they said to him, "The disciples of John fast often and offer prayers, and the disciples of the Pharisees do the same, but yours eat and drink." Jesus answered them, "Can you make the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come, and when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast in those days." And he also told them a parable. "No one tears a piece from a new cloak to patch an old one. Otherwise, he will tear the new, and the piece from it will not match the old cloak. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the new wine will burst the skins, and it will be spilled, and the skins will be ruined. Rather, new wine must be poured into fresh wineskins. And no one who has been drinking old wine desires new, for he says, 'The old is good.'" In today's Gospel, we find our Lord Jesus Christ responding to a question about fasting with the parable about a wedding feast. This parable teaches us about the transformative power of Jesus' presence and the joy that comes from being in communion with Him. The Pharisees and the disciples of John the Baptist approach Jesus with a question. Why do the disciples of John fast often and make prayers, and likewise those of the Pharisee, but yours eat and drink? It is a question about the practice of fasting and prayer, which were significant religious observations in that time. In response, Jesus tells them a parable comparing himself to a bridegroom. He says, "Can you make the friends of the bridegroom fast while the bridegroom is with them?" Here Jesus identifies himself as a bridegroom, and his presence is likened to a wedding feast, a time of great joy and celebration. Jesus goes to say that while the bridegroom is present, it is not a time for fasting, but a time of rejoicing. He even speaks of the new wine that must be put into new wineskins. This new wine represents his teachings, grace, and the joy of his presence. The reference to new wine in new wineskins implies a transformation. The old ways of religious legalism and ritualistic fasting are being transformed by the new reality of Jesus' presence. His message is one of grace, love, and joy. and it cannot be contained within the confines of old, rigid religious practices. As Byzantine Catholic Christians, we too have the privilege of experiencing the joy of communion with Jesus Christ. We participate in the divine liturgy, partake of the Holy Eucharist, and we are invited into a profound union with Jesus, the heavenly bridegroom. And in this communion we find the joy that surpasses any earthly pleasure and religious observance. It is a joy that comes from being in the presence of the living God, from receiving His grace, and from knowing that we are united with Him in a mystical bond that transforms our lives. In conclusion, this passage reminds us that as Christians, we are invited to embrace the joy of Jesus' presence. It challenges us to let go of old ways of thinking and religious practices that may hinder our experience of His grace and joy. May we approach our faith not as a burdensome task, but as a wedding feast, a time of rejoicing in the presence of the bridegroom. May we be filled with the new wine of His love and grace, and may this joy transform our hearts and radiate to the world. Let us enter into the joy of Jesus' presence and share it with others, inviting them to the eternal wedding feast of the Lamb. I wish to everyone a blessed day. God bless you.